Hey, there we go, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Arizona Real Estate Showcase. I am your host, Jason Grandon, with Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team, located right here in beautiful, sunny Arizona. So first of all, I want to give a special shout out to all the listeners we have. First of all, thanks. I get a ton of inquiries, emails, and stuff saying how fun the podcast is, or a couple of people think it sucked, but what can you do? But for the most part, we try to be informative. We try not to give you the typical, hi, this is what's going on in the real estate market. We want to kind of be fun, real life, because bottom line is that if you are moving to Arizona, anywhere, whether it's up here in Paradise Valley, Prescott, Flagstaff, Scottsdale, Cave Creek, you are buying a lifestyle, all right? No more, no less. So we're not going to sit here and give you what the reporters are saying about, the market's crashing here, or it's not doing this, because it's not the case. We will give you a real input on what's going on. So anyways, and hey, I'm keeping my promise. I know we said we're going to do an episode a week. We're less than a week from the last one, which did very well, by the way, and still people are downloading it. So I'm shooting this out of the office. It's a podcast. For those of you that want to watch it, it's on YouTube and some other channels. And again, we are starting the lockbox pretty soon. So you can see my office in the back here. It does need to be cleaned up. Desk broke, so I had to get a printer on the floor. And we got some Halloween stuff up. So speaking of Halloween, Saturday is October 1st. We're here, folks. We are in the holiday season. We are ready to rock and roll. Ready or not, we are here. Which brings me to our conversation for today. So let's, so many of you, we have the Grandon Group, which we do a lot of sales. We do a lot of, marketing of homes, a lot of selling, stuff like that. But we also have another company called InstantRenters.com. So we've had InstantRenters.com nearly 20 years. It's actually kind of a brainchild of my wife. And so when we started real estate a long time ago, I'm the type who's always got to be doing something. I've always got to be kind of rocking and rolling, doing something. So she comes up with this great idea of, hey, let's help out renters, which, this is the truth. There's property management companies out here and got a lot of respect for them. But listen, for the most part, nobody wants to help out renters, okay? There's no money in it. So anyways, we decided to cater to rentals. And we've done very well at it. In fact, we do a few thousand, and that's not even exaggerating, a few thousand rentals per year. We do not do property management. That's a totally different beast, but we do rentals. So Joe Blow calls from, let's say Colorado. Hey, I'm moving to Arizona. I need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. I want to live in Scottsdale, Phoenix, and I need to have a swimming pool, and I can't spend more than $3,000 a month. So then what we'll do is we will sit there and get those parameters, send them out a list, take them, show them, and get you a rental. And it's worked out great. It's a great way to meet some new people and introduce them to this incredible state we call Arizona. So lately, rental prices are ridiculous right now. But lately, you get the ones that only want to spend $400 or $500 a month. It's a little tougher, being that they rarely exist here in Maricopa County, and you've got to really get out into the dirt for those, and those people don't want to live there because they got to make their way to work. So anyways, trying to find a rental, yes, you should use a realtor, and plus you can avoid any sort of scams. We make sure there's no scams. So with that said, we want to talk about, we'll talk about a little bit of the rental market, but the big thing is, without a doubt, you should own a home. So sometimes you have to rent. And so we had some emails on this one, and I actually like this topic because we talk about it quite a bit. So yes, we own InstantRenters.com. We want to help you find a rental, but should you really be renting, especially if you're spending any more than $2,500 a month and up? You should be buying a house. So you rent for the following reasons. One, and you listen, this is the biggest excuse we get, and I'm going to introduce you guys to some lenders. It'll be on the website here, how to reach them. This is the biggest thing we get. Well, I want to buy a house, but I don't have the down payment. Okay, well, guess what? There's programs out there where you don't necessarily need a down payment. Second of all, with today's market, there's other ways to skin that cat. We might be able to help you get that home buying process going. So there are some great lenders we're going to introduce you to at the end of the show that will put you on a roadmap. you have no idea if you can buy. Many of you have absolutely no clue that when you call up and you're like, Jason, I need a rental. I want to spend $3,000 a month. We pull your credit and you've got a 650 credit score. We can get you a loan. You're going to put down on a rental. Now, this is just an example. A $3,000 a month rental. You've got first month's, 1 month security deposit, maybe a last month's, a cleaning and pet fee. So if you go that route, you're almost there with your down payment money. You're over almost $10,000. We can figure out how to get you the rest. There's a ton of ways to do it. We got great lenders that'll explain it to you. But without a doubt, with the exception of, I just went through bankruptcy or foreclosure, moving to the town, I don't know where I want to live. That's another good one. And I do agree with that. If you do not know where you want to live in this town, rent. Do a 6-month rental, do a year rental, but rent so you can figure out what area you want to live in. Because as we mentioned before in other podcasts, every area has a different personality. We want to make sure you get a good area. So we've had many people over the years. I've had people call and they're like, yeah, I moved from New York City and then I was put out in, for example, some Maricopa, for example. So you went from a city, downtown Manhattan, moving to Arizona, and the realtor you dealt with thought it was a good idea to put you out in Maricopa, which, by the way, Maricopa is a beautiful place, but it's going to be a shell shock if you're coming from the middle of the city out there into the suburbs. So those are the kind of things you need to do. So you need to realize who you're talking to and figure out what the lifestyle is. Hey, I'd like to, go out partying. I'm a golfer. I'd like to do this. There's some great areas for that. Maybe you just like to go home. I want to be left alone. Maybe you just want to pull in the garage and be left alone. There's areas for that as well. So it's important to get to know who you're dealing with. But with that said, without a doubt, you should be buying a house. Yes, even in this market where the media is telling you interest rates are so high, we're in a recession. Listen, a couple things. One, you are going to buy a house one way or the other. Okay, think about this. You already own a house. You either own it for yourself or you own it for your landlord. Start making those payments to yourself. Okay, so without a doubt, you should own a home. Sometimes you'd have to rent. That's fine. With rents rising, it only makes sense to invest in your well-being and future. So owning a home is something that brings you to a different level of confidence and comfort in your life. Okay? So unlike renting, and I've been a renter for a long time. I actually own homes now, but as a renter, there's some great things. You know what? Something breaks, you call the landlord, they fix it. Maybe not right away, but they're supposed to. They fix it, and you're done with it. You don't have that expense. But owning a home, and let me just get off of this subject for a second. Owning a home, it used to be people would buy a home to build a future. Oh, I'm going to live here until I get married, or my wife and I are going to live here, or whatever. Anymore, it's I'm going to buy a home. You think I can make $300,000 in 2 years on it? We don't play that because that's not what we're selling here. We're selling a lifestyle. We want you to be happy. Yes, you are going to make money on your house if you buy right. That's our job. Make sure that happens. But don't go into a house thinking you're going to double your money in 2 years. So owning a home has just a whole different feel. You host birthday parties, holiday parties with Halloween coming up and stuff. There is something about owning your own home and having a Halloween party, for example. It's just a different feel. It's your house. People come over, it's yours. It's yours. Everything's yours. It's just got a different feeling compared to, I'm just renting. I don't own any of this stuff here. It's all borrowed. It's just a different feeling. It just gives you a sense of confidence that I think a lot of people need to get back to. It's, I'm going to clean my house in the morning instead of looking like, somebody kicked a hole in the wall and I got to explain to the landlord. It's just a different feel, and that's the way, personally, I think owning a home it should be. It's fun to go out to Home Depot or Lowe's and pick out ceiling fans or, customize your office, go to the stores and figure out what kind of office works great for you, your kitchen, something. It's just a sense of accomplishment that, I think that's what a lot of people need to get back to. And listen, it's not a forever deal. When you buy a house, you can get out of it. Yes, they're not liquid immediately, but you know what? If you buy right through the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team, you should be just fine as far as purchasing your house. So another thing, something great about going in the backyard. So when my wife and I bought this place where we're in, and we live in Cave Creek. So one of the big things was, we spent probably more than we should have on the house. So you had a blank backyard, just dirt. I mean, there were weeds growing in it. But there was a sense of accomplishment when we sat down together and we said, listen, let's do this backyard. We designed it together, had a grass on one side, a pool on the other, and we couldn't afford the pool. So we did the grass half first. So literally half of our backyard was done with grass, and that's it. We didn't even have trees or bushes. So then finally we decided we wanted to buy a pool, but we didn't want a loan. So work hard, you save, and fortunately we were able to pay cash as we went. So we, with the help of a pool company out here, we did it ourselves, and we paid as we went. And so we had a pool and then this is another way, and I'll introduce you to the builders for this if you need them. We went to a couple of the big pool builders, and it was $125,000 for the pool that we have, 13,000 gallons, little jacuzzi, $125,000. Getting a general contractor and doing it ourselves. We did this pool, jacuzzi. We've got a big sitting area in the backyard with a fire pit. Under $65,000, all in, deck and everything. Then you have a few $1,000s more, but there's something about owning the place when you get to go out and you get to plant your own grass in your yard. Even if you have the landscapers do it or something like that, just being able to pick your own bushes and trees, it's great. It's a huge sense of accomplishment that once you have it, it's just one of those feelings you can't get away from. So that's kind of what home ownership's about. Again, renting is kind of like, I kind of like to compare renting to the first job in high school. My first job in high school was Dairy Queen. Loved it. It was a good time. Owners were awesome. In fact, we're still friends with them. And for those of you who live in Arizona or have been out here, it was the Dairy Queen at Scottsdale and Shea. Susan and Arnie are the owners. They're fantastic. So that was my first job. But renting is a little bit like your first high school job. Not getting paid very well. You show up when you have to. They take care of things. But then when you get the chance to buy, you're not going to do it forever. But when you get the chance to buy, it's like, wow, this is great. So what I'm going to do at the bottom of this, I'm going to put down, first of all, I'm going to leave some out just because I know I'm going to, but I'm going to put 3 or 4 lenders at the bottom of the podcast here that you should call if you're interested in buying. It's free, first of all. Any lender, if you call a lender and they're like, well, you can't buy right now, one, I wouldn't use that lender. Second of all, a good lender, like the ones I'm going to put here in the bottom of this podcast, and again, there's other ones as well, so I apologize for any of the lenders we work with I didn't put on here, but a good lender is going to sit there and say, okay, Mr. or Mrs. Homebuyer, unfortunately, you can't buy because your income's not there yet or your credit score is not there or whatever the situation is, but let's put you on a roadmap to purchasing a home. That is what you need. That way you have a goal to look forward to, and a good lender is going to sit there and put you on a roadmap and say, okay, listen, we can't get you a house today, but in 6 months, I'm going to be able to get you in this program if you do A, B, and C. And it might be paying off one credit card, it might be paying down a debt, or it just might be waiting for the rules to change. Plus, there's a ton of programs, like I said, that are first-time home buyers, VAs, stuff like that you might qualify for that you don't even know you qualify for. So again, we're discussing home ownership from the GrandonGroup.com, and it's from our perspective. So we'll introduce you to a couple lenders on the bottom. But I do highly recommend that if you're considering buying, don't talk yourself out of it. There's so many people right now that go out there and they're like, oh, I want to buy, but I can't. Okay, why? I don't have the money. Okay, you're paying $2,500 a month for rent. I don't have the down payment. Okay, but your deposits were nearly $10,000, and you only need 3.5% minimum on some places. Oh, I don't have closing costs. We'll get those covered, no doubt about that, especially in this market. I can't live in this city because I want to live there, and it's not affordable. That's not the case, and that's our job. Many times we'll go into a neighborhood where if you're like, hey, I only want to spend this much money, but there's nothing available. Well, sometimes you just got to knock on a door and find that house you want. But listen, there's a million excuses as to why you shouldn't buy a house or why you can't buy a house. The best reasons are the ones that you should buy a house. There's just so much that goes along with home ownership. And you know what? When I pull up at home at night, pull into my garage, It's just I've been in this place for 5 years since we bought it, and I still get a smile on my face when I pull in. So, everybody deserves to own a house. We all bust our rear ends to do it. So, you know what? Talk to one of our lenders. Get out there. Have them put you on a roadmap if you're not ready. And you know what? I would venture to say many of you that listen to the podcast are ready, and you just don't know it. If you had a bankruptcy and it's not quite discharged yet, guess what? You're ready. And with the things changing, there's just new programs out there. And as far as the interest rates go, yes, that $1 million house you wanted 3 months ago at 2% interest is now 6.5, 7. Okay, so you buy a $600,000 house now. It's out there. And you know what? You can always upgrade, you can always downgrade, and we'll get you taken care of. And there's some things we'll talk in other episodes about what you need to watch. But today I just kind of wanted to discuss the whole home ownership bit. It's exciting. And you know what? Many of you deserve it. And you know what? Stop. There's so many rental places up here. I was at an apartment yesterday. They're charging $275 a foot for a rental. So 1,000 square foot apartment, 1 bedroom, is $2,750 a month. That, my friends, is a $350,000 house. We'll find you that. So if you want, take my advice. Call some of the lenders below, and let's get you on the home ownership. It's the holiday season. You deserve it. Let Santa bring you a brand new house for Christmas. We can even have you in before Halloween so you can host a Halloween party so we don't have to do it. Thanksgiving is great. It's great having family over to your house. Your house. I'm not talking your rental. I'm talking one you own. Again, it's kind of like when you meet that special someone, your face glows when you talk about them. And you're like, oh, I just met so-and-so, and your face glows. It's that kind of feeling when you own a house. So, the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team, wants to help you find the perfect house. Whether you're down here in Maricopa County or you're up in Pinal County, up in Yavapai and stuff like that, we'll find you a place. My sister and I are really great at what we do. If you're considering selling, we've got a great marketing program. Ask about our no lockbox listing, which has been doing great. Plus, it generates, regardless of the market, thousands. And I'm telling you, thousands more than your traditional, I listed your house and put it on the MLS. And so, anyways, listen, I hope you guys enjoy the episodes. Thanks again for listening. We've got a lot of you. Every week it shows that we're growing, which is great, and enjoy doing it. And so, hey, send your comments, send your feedback. If there's a topic you want to talk about, send it over. And pretty soon we'll get the lockbox.com going so you can watch that on TV as well. Thanks for joining in on this podcast, Arizona Real Estate Showcase, brought to you by the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team. Hey, I will be back next week with something good, especially as we go into our first week of October. And I got to tell you, I love Halloween. I'm like the mayor of Halloween. So we are going to have a good time. We got a lot of stuff going. Get out there, get pre-qualified, get a roadmap to buying a house. Let's get you a house. Let's get you a house before 2023 because you deserve it. Hey, I'm Jason Grandon with the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team. We'll see you on next week's episode. Thanks again.